Forza Horizon 6, thus far the only thing we know about it is that it is a game and it's going to Tokyo, which is great for all of those Tokyo-loving simps. There's a lot of them in Australia. There's a lot of them going in Australia, but, you know, it's a beautiful country. My brother's been there quite a few times and he loves it. So very curious to see how a game is going to go with the mountain ranges and you know, the narrow roads. I think it could be a really pretty game, very beautiful game, especially to have a car sort of game about it. But there has been a leak. Well, potentially there's a leak. So everything I say with this leak, I'm only going to say this once, we're putting an asterisk on it, okay? We're putting an asterisk on it. It was a pop-up in Forza Horizon 5, allegedly, that no one has been able to replicate. It's making rounds of the internet. But because no one has said anything about this game since it was first announced with a very small trailer with some, you know, lotus flowers back in September, the internet has gone nuts with it. And this is what happens when you don't give, like, little giblets of information to drip feed us little gremlins that live in our mother's basements. You need to give us some information, or else we start, like, you know, becoming like a heroin addict and start scratching on the skin and we start making things up. If this is fake, it's an unbelievable fake. So let's give credit where credit is due. If we've been rickrolled, amazing job on this. So anyway, let's dive in. It looks like, well, by the leak, it's coming out on May the 22nd. This makes a lot of sense to me. I mentioned in a previous video that there's the Xbox are coming out with their, like, holy quadrilogy, not Trinity. There's 4 of them. But, you know, Fable, Xbox, Gears, and Forza Horizon. One of those games, just because all of them need to come out before November, you would think it'd be a bit of a waste to try compete with Grand Theft Auto, needs to come out a bit earlier than kind of that, like, October, January, August timeline. And they don't really have much happening between now and July Xbox. So having a title come out, you know, somewhere between April, May makes a lot of sense because it gets a little hype up there. You know, they can give it a proper launch. They can give it a lot of hype in between. And then all of a sudden, you know, it might drive a little bit more into the Xbox ecosystem. And again, all these games need to come out before Grand Theft Auto because Grand Theft Auto is going to be the biggest console buying driving force since this console launched. And because the game's not coming out on PC, it's really going to be PlayStation or Xbox. Now, right now, everyone's calling the PlayStation route, but Xbox, this kind of run is going to be much more the casual gamer. And I could see a lot of people going, well, if I buy a console, and again, this is only if Microsoft is smart, if they do a bundle where you get a year's worth of Game Pass, then you can go, well, I want to get GTA, and if I get Game Pass for a year, it does mean I get Forza Horizon and Call of Duty, and, you know, maybe, you know, Fable and those sort of things as well, if those interest you. But I could see that being a real driving force for someone to buy a console if you're really up in the air, if you're just someone that's up in the air. Obviously, Sony is winning the console wars. Let's not have that debate in the comments. Why not throw a debate in the comments if you want to? But it's so clear that they need to have this win. So if it comes out in May, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mentioned in a video before that I would say that this would be the earlier of the games because it has been rumored to be and that it is much more ready. So, but we'll find out exactly on January the 22nd when they do the showcase, which we will cover on this channel. It's saying 550 cars. That's down from 770 with the base game of Forza Horizon 5, which some people on the internet were a bit disappointed with. My thoughts on that is if you can't get it done with 550 cars, you probably weren't getting it done with 770 cars. So that would be my thought on it. Post-launch, they do release a lot of cars. So I think there was 200 in the last one. I think it was 220 to be exact. So as long as maybe they have a bit of an eye to just keep releasing cars and complete releasing information, that would be great just because it looks like this game's going to have much more of a life cycle because it had the longest development time of any of these games. Looks like it was a bit more top-down rebuilt, the engine itself. So very excited to see all of that. And it does claim that it is the biggest game that they've got, which is pretty massive because Forza Horizon 5 was a big game. It was much bigger than 3 and 4. I think 5 was the combination of 3 and 4's maps. I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked that up and I'm just going to say it is fact. I'm going to say that is fact. But it was something on those lines. Like they were very close together from memory. So it doesn't need to be much bigger to be bigger, but you know, it does seem to be bigger. And that makes a lot of sense just with all the mountains and the ranges that you could have in Japan. I could see a lot of people jumping off mountains to save time in this game, but I'm very excited for this game. I don't really get excited for arcade races. I'm more of a sim racing guy, but I think this one has the real chance to just be very unique. Like I said, mountainous, obviously the drift culture and that Japanese car scene. So, you know, get to see some done up cars that, you know, you kind of get in like the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, those sort of cars I'm expecting as well. It does look like if you pre-order it, you get a limited edition Ferrari supercar that came out to acknowledge 50 years celebration in Japan for Ferrari, so that's kind of cool as well. And, I just like having those experiences of driving these cars that, I think that Ferrari cost like 3.6 million or something like that. So pretty cool that you just get to try something that you would never try in real life or even probably look at. But yeah, very, very keen for this game to come out. Otherwise, yeah, it has like car passes, which makes sense if they're going the 550, just to sort of lock some things, make it a bit more of a live event. And looks like you get the game for free with Game Pass, but it's going to come out 4 days early if you pre-order it. And there's the early access thing, which I've noticed that Xbox has been doing more and more, where you can just you don't have to buy the game in full, but you can kind of upgrade to $40 if you have Game Pass to play it early, which I'm going to have to do because I have to review the game. So thanks, Xbox and Microsoft. You're going to get $40 out of me. I hope you're happy. But yeah, it looks like you get some other little bits and bobs. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is why I think that this might be a little bit more legitimate, or like I said, it's a very good fake if that's the case. Just because I could see that this pop-up is going to exist in a week's time when the showcase happens in the 22nd, just because I do think this game will come out first, and I think this is going to be the only one with a hard release date. I think everything else is going to be kind of vibes. It's going to be like coming fall, coming summer. Like, I just think everything else is going to be real vibe related, more feelings, Sagittarius kind of vibes, instead of giving actual dates, where this one's going to be like, this is what is coming at this date, get excited, and we're going to drip feed you little bits and bobs since then. And obviously they'll probably come out with something January, February, but that's not going to be a massive thing. It's just going to keep us going in that Xbox world. So yeah, I'm pretty keen on this. I don't think that I've got any real qualms or problems yet. I just want to see what the game looks like and just make sure it does have that beauty in it, which I'm expecting. And I'm expecting like a metropolis, a big massive mountains, Mount Fuji, for instance. Like, I'm expecting all of it. I'm expecting snow. I'm expecting, kind of more coastal areas. I'm kind of expecting everything in Japan to just be beefed into this one map. So yeah, kind of very, very keen on this. And I think a lot of the cars have been really well scanned into the game as well. I've noticed that, the scanning team has been in Japan for quite a lot. So they've done a lot of this sort of Japanese sort of style of cars. So, again, expecting that drive culture. I really want an MX-5, like a 90s MX-5 in the game. And I want a Yugo. Give me a Yugo. I know that's a Soviet car. It has nothing to do with Japan, but just give me a Yugo. I want to see Yugos in games. I saw a few in Bosnia. They look amazing. By that, I mean, like, amazingly shitty. And I love them. I really want to buy a Yugo myself. Like, if we make it as big YouTubers well down the way, that will be my purchase of, like, I just bought a Yugo and had it sent from, like, Bosnia to here. Because, yeah, when I was in Bosnia, whenever I saw them, I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. It just reminds me of that Simpsons meme where it's just like, it gets 300 hectares with, like, 1 tablespoon of kerosene or 1 liter of kerosene. It just reminds me of that so much, the Yugo. So put that in the game. No one will buy it because of the Yugo. I will be the only one that cares. You'll make no additional money from it. So that seems like resources best made, in my opinion. And, like, Japan's not too far from Russia. I'm sure there was a Yugo that made it over. I'm expecting, like, that Suzuki truck, that really small, narrow truck as well. Like, I'm expecting some narrow cars to be in this game. So I'm kind of keen for that. But yeah, I want a 90s, like, MX-5. Just that bad boy with the pop-up lights. I want to see so many 90s cars with the pop-up lights. I thought they were the coolest thing when I was a kid. I'm born in 87, so, like, that should age me a fair bit. But if you had pop-up lights, that was, like, the height of fancy. The height of fancy was like a vignette dessert ice cream thing, and then the pop-up lights. Those were the things in Australia that was just like, oh my god, how fancy. How elite are those people? And still to this day, pop-up lights are cool. Like, it's such a shame we got away from the pop-up lights, and we've just gone with, like, I don't know, just the boring. Well, I feel like everyone's car lights now is just blinding, and everyone just has giant SUVs. But yeah, just I miss the MX-5, like the smaller Japanese cars, and the car culture that came from that just growing up. So I'm really, like I keep saying, I'm just keen for this game, but I want to see it. I want to see it. Looking forward to the 22nd. We're going to be covering it, the showcase. We'll probably go through the highlights, make a video on that. So if that does interest you, hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, comment down below anything to do with this game or anything that's, interests you, that topic that came out of this. Debate people in the chat too. Always happy to, if you've, got something, if you disagree with someone, put that down there. Otherwise, if you agree, hit the like button, like button for them, because, they took the time to put in a comment. and I like to see some disagreements happen. Otherwise, hit the like button and shoots the video far and wide. My name is Brenton. This is RetalinLive. We do videos 6 days a week on gaming. I do 5. My brother does 1. He does more of a thoughtful piece on the weekends, and then we take Sunday off. Sunday off for Jesus. Not really. We just need it because we get burnt out otherwise. But yeah, I'm going to edit this up, cut this up, and get on out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you, and bye.